Yes, I said it is very important that you plan your essay because this will enable your reader to follow how the essay is written. Also, because your examiner is going to award marks based on the content. That is, did you write based on what you're given? Let's assume you are given the topic, boarding school is better than day school. And then you go about writing about secondary school, is better than primary school. That means you're writing out of content. Then you're going to be awarded mark based on organization. The examiner is going to look at your introduction. How did you arrange your paragraph? What does each paragraph contain? Then your mechanical accuracy, your grammatical rules. Did you observe your rules appropriately? Then your expression, did you use the right expression? Hope you didn't use slangs where you're not supposed to use slangs. So your examiner is going to award marks based on all these steps. So I've given it an acronym. It's COM. C for content, O for organization, M for mechanical accuracy, and then lastly, the expression. Now let's look at how to generate points. So I want us to adopt the positive and negative table. You want to generate points. That is, you want to draw your outline. You should have, you should try to adopt the positive and negative table. It's on your screen. I want to ask, why do I need to adopt this method? It's very important. Remember, we're looking at the 5-paragraph approach. Where will you draw your own, your opponent's point from? It's from the negative column. So, assuming you have this table, you have your points. The first column is the point. The other one is the positive, and then the negative. If you are arguing for a particular topic, your points will be drawn from the positive table. Then, when you get to the part whereby you have to look at your opponent's view, then you draw your points from the negative table. Now, let's look at this layout approach. Let's assume we're looking at that topic. History as a subject should be made compulsory in secondary school. So before you attempt this question, you ask yourself the following questions. Do you enjoy studying history? Why do you enjoy studying history if you do? Why don't you enjoy studying history if you don't? Then do you think there's any value in the study of history? Is there any value? Why do you think there's value? Why do you think there's no value? So you ask yourself these questions. Now, I have all those points based on the topic I've been given. History as a subject should be made compulsory in secondary school. Look at this point. Point number 1 says, it is essential for good citizenship. It is essential for good citizenship. The study of history will make you, you are out there because you've already studied history as a subject. You're out there, you are faced for, you have to argue a point. You can argue based on what you've been taught. Let's say, okay, as a Nigerian, you don't have any knowledge about your country. And then somebody comes and says, Nigerians are touts, Nigerians are spammers and all that. How do you argue that? If you don't have any basic history about your country, you won't be able to argue that point logically. So it is essential for good citizenship. That is what? That is a positive point. It contributes to moral understanding. That's another positive point. Then number 3, it helps us understand people and society. That's another positive point. Then the way we learn it is old-fashioned. That's a negative point. But when we look at it, are we learning it the way it should be learned? We're talking about the history of the Badagry, for example. And then after the conclusion of that topic, we've never been to Badagry. Has it been learned the best way? No. We're talking about slave trade. And no video of slave trade then was played, or you watch, or you've seen, or you've been to these sites. Then you can't actually say you've learned it. So the way we learn it is old-fashioned. That's a negative point. Then we need to focus on the future. Why do we need to study history? When the future is ahead of us, that's a negative point. Why should I talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe that is dead when I have people that are alive that I can study, that I don't even know about them yet? You know, that's a negative point. Then there are other more pressing subjects. That's another negative point. History, why should I study history when I have civic, when I have government, when I have economics? Why should I waste my time studying history? That's a negative point. Then the teaching of it is often tainted with bias. Let's say I have to talk about the Yoruba, for example. Or I'm a Yoruba and I have to talk about the Igbo. Of course, as a Yoruba, I won't want to talk about them in a, maybe in a comprehensive way. I want to be biased by favoring the Yorubas, you know. So the teaching of it is often tainted with bias. Then it doesn't have any tangible skills. After studying English, what do I learn? Will I learn how to write history? Will I learn how to make a plane or invent something? No, there's no skill. So the study does not have any tangible skills associated with it. That's a negative point. Then it is useful in the world of work. That's the positive point. Then finally, the knowledge it gives is no longer valid for today's world. I've learned about slave trade. Will slave trade reoccur? Will it happen again? So it's not valid. So when you have all this outline, you'll be able to arrange them in this table. You have your positive points, and then you have your negative points. Now, after doing that, then you now consider the point you make and decide which one should go and which one should stay. Of course, remember we're writing a 5-paragraph, 2 paragraphs in support, 1 paragraph against. Now I have almost 10 points or more than. Of course, I don't want to put everything because each point is actually a paragraph. So I will look at it, which one should I take, which one should I do without? So that's where you decide which one should be and which one should go. Then the next step is, and also you must have reason for either supporting. It's not just having points. You must be able to, when you're supporting a particular view, you must be able to do it strongly, you know. So you must have reason for either supporting or opposing the given topic. Yes. Okay, I'm listening. Okay. Yes, conclusion. Yes, that's why I said you can't use all the old points. There are some points that you can actually merge. Like the one that says it's not, let's look at this point. There are some that you can actually merge. The one that says we need to focus on the future, and it does not have any tangible skills associated with it. It can match, actually, you can match some points into one paragraph. But if you have like 4 points, it's not, you can't just write paragraph 1 point, paragraph 2. That means you exceed, you have so many paragraphs that you won't be able to manage. So for the purpose of examination, I always advise that you stick to the 5-paragraph approach, or at most a 6-paragraph with -2 already, introduction and conclusion. So it's not good to always have so many paragraphs so that you don't get confused and you don't know which one to manage. Now let's look at this. Using the positive and negative table, let's try to generate points. Boys are smarter than girls. You woke up now. You were sleeping. You woke up when you hear boys are smarter than girls. It doesn't make sense. Girls are smarter. it's okay. Let's leave it for after the class. After the class, please, let's move on. Let's move on, please. It's okay. It's okay, let's have this class. It's okay. It's okay, it's okay. Boys are smart, girls are smart. It's okay. It's okay, it's okay. Now let's look at what. I didn't get me, it's okay. Now, although you have been able to generate so many points for this topic, you need to choose two strongest points to support your opinion. So choose the points you have the most right about. You look at the points that you've been able to generate, then you have to pick two that you can actually write about. Remember that in your examination, you'll be given a target. Write between 300 to 450 words, between 250 to 300 words, you know. So you must write based on the one that you know that you can write most on. Now, this will be your main idea for body paragraph 1 and 2. Now, write a topic sentence for each. Yes. Okay. No. Actually, it's being recorded. When it's live, it will be noisy and they won't be able to hear it. Have you watched the video? It's always noisy. Absolutely. I like the way it's like this. Let me just do my work and do. So the next topic, please. The next step. The next step is to write a topic sentence. Write a topic sentence for each one. So what is a topic sentence? A topic sentence usually begins at each paragraph and it summarizes the whole paragraph. So the sentences that follow will give a more specific information about that topic. For example, so we're saying we should write a topic sentence for each paragraph. And a topic sentence is a summary of the paragraph. So, for example, history helps us to understand people and society. That's a topic sentence. History helps us to understand people and society. So you should be able to write more. How does it do that? So when you write how it does that, that's how you're building your paragraph. So that's the supporting sentence. Then the topic sentence for point number 2. The study of history provides people with a sense of identity. The study of history provides people with a sense of identity. So when you write more on how it does this, you're building your paragraph. Then you might want to ask, well, how about the top paragraph? How do you bring it in? How do you bring in the top paragraph? So imagine someone is writing against your topic. Imagine someone is writing against your topic. What would the person think? So this is your counterpoint. That should be your topic sentence 3. Your counterpoint is your topic sentence 3. For example, the knowledge history has provided and its status in society has changed. That's a counterpoint. So if your opponent is writing against your topic, your opponent is going to bring in this point. So how do you write your own paragraph based on your counterpoint, the counterpoint of your opponent? You might want to start with the following examples. They have a point in thinking that history, the knowledge of history has provided, the knowledge history has provided and its status in society has changed. After seeing this evidence, there's no way we can agree with their opinion that the knowledge of history, the knowledge history has provided has changed, The argument that the knowledge of history, blah, 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 So you might want to introduce your counterpoint using all these approaches. So in summary, we've looked at what an argumentative essay entails. We've studied the 5-paragraph essay, that is the introduction, the conclusion, then the 3-paragraph, 2 against, 2 for and 1 against. Also, we've looked at how to analyze a topic. That is, you should read the question and try to understand what it entails. Then how do you plan it? You analyze your essay, you draw up your points, and then you generate your points. So any question before we have our arguments? Any questions? No, when you're at, someone has just asked a valid question. Someone just asked a question now that since it's not a debate, in the examination you actually been informed. If you are to write it in form of a debate, you have to acknowledge the audience, acknowledge the speaker and some other people. And at the end, you'll be able to say, at the end of this essay, I hope I've been able to, at the end of this, with this point, I hope I'll be able to argue that, I hope I'll be able to prove that, that's a debate. The exam question will guide you. If it's a debate, you'll be told it's a debate. But if it's an essay, you don't need to start acknowledging anybody at the beginning. And then at the end, when you're concluding, you don't need to start saying, I hope I'll be able to convince and not confuse and not blah, blah, blah. You don't need to do that. Just end it with in a normal paragraph. In conclusion, with a point, or at the end of all these points, like that. So any question? So shall we have our argument? Boys are smarter than girls. Yeah. Or any other topic? Any other topic?